Hey guys, this is Mr. Boston here. My real name is Lee Marks. Thank you for watching my show for class for this reality TV week thing you're doing. And yeah, so I'll answer some of your questions. So I saw there was the question, why did I do the show? What interested me about I Love New York? Well, it was really just that I had just moved to Los Angeles. This was in 2006, and I wasn't working at the time. I was in a mall when one of these casting people approached me asking if I had seen the original Flavor of Love show. And I said, yeah. And does she, she asked me if I'd be interested in doing a spin-off sequel type of show they'd be doing. And I basically said yes because, at the time, I hadn't found a job yet since I just moved down to LA. And I had some free time on my hands. And I liked how the show was funny, not that serious, kind of trashy. I figured my style of humor would be pretty good for that kind of show. So I showed up to the open casting call and, I auditioned for it. They asked me questions and that kind of thing. And they called me up a month later asking if I wanted to, if I was still interested in doing the show, and I was. And 3 weeks after that, we started filming. So it wasn't like I, had my heart set on doing reality TV, and I had already been on 30 casting calls for 30 different shows before I found this show. It was more just one casting person approached me asking if I wanted to do it, and then I went to one casting call and I got on the show. So then also, so basically, what was the casting process like? So I just kind of described it, and also the actual audition, it's basically in front of two casting people. They basically turned the camera on, and for the next 20 minutes or so, they would just ask me a bunch of questions about, my relationship history, sexual history, all that stuff. And, basically what they're looking for is someone who's not shy, someone who is uninhibited, someone who will kind of tell, shocking stories, that kind of thing. So basically, I just answered their questions in kind of a truthful, funny manner so I could make them laugh. And basically the whole 20 minutes, the two guys were just laughing the whole time. And it sounded like it went pretty well, and yeah, it was. So I got the call a month later and asking if I still wanted to do it. So then, I just had to go through this health checkup where they test you for STDs because they don't want anyone who has STDs going on the show. If you give the girl you're competing for New York STDs, she could sue VH1 and that kind of thing. So I passed the STD test, then I signed the contract, and then I was on the show. And that's how the casting process worked. And the impact, it had on my life, it was a little bit bigger of an impact than I thought, because I did not know, obviously, when we were filming the show that it would be a huge hit show, because, there are still a lot of reality shows that are made that are not hit shows, and therefore no one watches the show, or it never makes it on TV, or it gets canceled after a couple episodes. So, I feel bad for people who went on those kind of shows because they basically completely wasted their time. However, our show, it was a huge hit show. So it started airing in 2007, and I started getting recognized a lot, everywhere I went. So that was, pretty cool, but a little bit annoying if I was, getting recognized a little too much, if I wanted some private time, if I was on if it was a private session, for example, I'm on a date with a girl, and then we're at a restaurant, and 5 people are coming over asking to take a picture with me or whatever, that can be annoying, that kind of thing. I was still able to have a full-time job while I was, after the show started airing, because, the way it works is the show filmed September 2006, and then it started airing in January 2007. So I started working, I think, November. So I started working after the show was filmed, but before it started airing. So, it was kind of funny because then when the show started airing, I worked at a large company. Everyone, a lot of people at the company saw the show, the first episode. They're like, hey, we work with that guy. So that was pretty cool. I still had a job at the time as the show was airing, so it was kind of like I had a lot of different, priorities, because like sometimes I have to do like promotional radio interviews. So like if I'm at my full-time job, at like 10 a.m., I have to take a break with my cell phone to go outside and have like a 5-minute promotional interview with some radio station in some like random city. Yeah, so it was quite hectic, and then there were like club appearances where like I would show up to a random bar or club in some city in the country on a Saturday night, and I get paid a guest appearance. It's it would be like $1,000, $1,500 a night plus the flight and hotel. So that was obviously awesome, because I was making like free money just to basically show up to a bar or club and have a good time for only one night. Yeah, so I made a little bit of cash that way. I mean, it's not like a huge amount of money, because those club appearances will only go on for like up to 6 months after the show airs. Yeah. The relationship I had with the other guys after the show, it was kind of like I was never good friends with any of the guys. And yes, we were competing for the same woman, but I think we all knew that none of us were truly interested in her. Like, we were just pretending to be interested in her. Because, like basically we all wanted to get on TV, and we all wanted to win the show, even though we'd be stuck with her. Like, basically, as soon as the show starts filming, it's very competitive. Nobody wants to get eliminated and get sent home. So, like, after the show, I mean, I still had a pretty good relationship with all the other guys, even though I wasn't, like, great friends with them. Oh, yeah, I mean, like, it was not, a thing where one guy is like, hey, you made it further than me, you stole her away in the show when I was trying to kiss her or have a conversation, how could you do that? It was not like that at all. So someone asked, did Tiffany fit my image of who I wanted for a life partner? No, not really. I mean, first of all, she smoked like at least a pack of cigarettes a day, so I had to make out with her a few times on the show, and if it's like open mouth kissing, like her cigarette breath is getting inhaled into my mouth, which was obviously a huge turnoff. I mean, of course, I couldn't actually start like coughing and gagging on camera, because that would have offended her. So I had to pretend like I really enjoyed the kissing, when actually it was this gross cigarette breath that I was kissing. And she's kind of loud and obnoxious. I understand a lot of that. It's just acting to get put onto the show. Give the show good TV ratings and all that. So, no, I don't think she's my image of an ideal partner, but it was still fun competing over her. Am I still in contact with New York or any of the other guys on the show? No, I'm not. I was never really in contact with New York afterwards. I mean, I saw her at like a couple of like VH1 parties or award shows, like in the year or two after the show. I kept in touch with some of the other guys too, because like sometimes we do like a joint club appearance where like me and another guy from the show would get sent to like a random club or bar in some city to do, like a joint appearance. So I kind of kept in touch with them for that. But I mean, like after a couple of years after I Love New York and then the second show, I Love Money, ended, I was no longer in touch with any of the other guys. I mean, I wish them well and all. I'm just no longer in contact with any of them or her. So how did my portrayal on the show affect current relationships with girlfriends? Yeah, I mean, so I dated some girls who had seen the show and some girls who had not seen the show. Usually what would happen is, like, at first they'd be okay with it, but then, like, after we've been dating a month and, like, if a lot of people are coming up and recognizing me in public when I'm out with the girl, sometimes she would not like that. And, like, if someone's asking for my picture, like, the girlfriend would not want me to say yes. She'd be like, why don't you just tell these people you're on a date? I'm like, because I'm not rude. I'm a nice guy. I just want to quickly give them a picture for 15 seconds and then they'll be on their way and then I can, go back to hanging out with you. So, I mean, yeah, I do see it would be a little annoying, like if we're at a restaurant and like 5 different times during the restaurant, someone would come up and ask for a picture. Yeah, so it would be a little annoying for the girlfriend. And then besides that, like if I was like posting, funny videos to YouTube or something, like a few years after the show, like sometimes my girlfriend or whatever at the time, she would not be happy about that. She's like, you have a real job, you're an accountant, why are you still trying to get on reality TV, doing these YouTube videos, that kind of thing. So yeah, overall it did not have a positive influence. And also if like I go on a date with a girl and she Googles me and she finds stuff out about the show, sometimes she would ask her friends, oh, this guy did reality TV, should I date him? And the friend's like, oh, don't date him, there's something wrong with him, like no one would do reality TV unless there's something wrong with them. So yeah, I mean, I had a lot of those kinds of problems, yeah. Well, was New York the same in real life as she was on the show? That's an interesting question, because, like, here's the thing. Like, as soon as the cameras were on, she was very kind of, like, in your face, loud, obnoxious. She loved making out with all of the guys and that kind of thing. But then as soon as it was, like, in between scenes or whatever and the camera shut off, she would suddenly be a lot quieter. She would not make out with any guys when the camera was off. So, like, for example, I had this one long makeout scene with her, lasted a couple minutes, and then like the camera guys had to like change a camera roll or something. So as soon as the camera stops, suddenly she gets off out of my lap. She had been sitting in my lap when we were making out. Suddenly she gets off of my lap. She's like not even talking to me. She's not even making out with me anymore, but we were just doing hardcore making out for the previous 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, so, and then as soon as the camera roll was changed and, they started filming again, suddenly she's making out with me again. So, yeah, she was obviously putting on a show, and her mom was pretty crazy too, but again, it was just when the cameras were rolling that they acted all crazy, like that. And someone else asked if the show was ever too overwhelming. Well, yeah, I mean, it was stressful, filming the show because, like, some of the guys, like, were from the ghetto and all they want to do is fight. I mean, not actual physical fight on camera. You can't do that. But, they're just, like, screaming at another guy. I'm standing 2 feet away and I'm not used to that. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't want to have anything to do with this. So, yeah, at times all the fighting on the show could be a little overwhelming. But, like, as soon as the show finished filming and started airing a few months later, I mean, it was never that overwhelming. No. I mean, did I watch my own episodes? How did I feel about, my portrayal? Yeah, of course I watched the episodes. I was pretty happy overall. Obviously, I wish I had made it further on the show so I could have had more entertaining moments. Because, like, sometimes, like, I'd be watching the show and then, like, the episode after the one I got eliminated, like, there would be, like, a funny challenge and I'd be, like, thinking to myself, oh, if I was still around then, I could have done something, like, hilarious in that challenge. Yeah, so it's always that kind of thing. I mean, I was happy with, my portrayal and image on the show. I just felt like if I lasted longer on the 2 shows, I Love New York and I Love Money, the challenge sequel show, I think I could have done even more hilarious stuff. There aren't really any decisions that I would regret. I mean, obviously, like, when I watched the show, particular for the second show, I Love Money, since it was a challenge show, I would watch it, and I'd be like, oh, if I had just done this differently, then I would not have gotten eliminated that episode, because I was only in 4 episodes of I Love Money, so it's just kind of like regret, since I Love Money was more strategic, and you're competing for the cash prize, $250,000, which I did not win, obviously. Obviously, I'm watching it just regretting, oh, like, why did I do this in this episode, then this person eliminated me that episode. If I had done something else, I wouldn't have gotten eliminated. Maybe I'd make it further. Maybe I would have won the show and the $250,000, that kind of thing. So it's not any regret like I wish I never appeared on the show. It's just regret, like a little thing. I wish I'd done this little thing differently or that little thing differently. All right, everyone, that's 15 minutes. You're probably getting tired of watching the video. So hopefully your week-long session studying reality TV has been interested. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer these questions.